Okay guys, I know you seen the title. In this video, I'll be going over Zillow launches one down payment program in Arizona. So it allows you to buy a house by only putting 1% down. Now there is a lot of particular rules for the eligibility and stuff, and right now this is just for Arizona, but in this particular video I'm going to be giving you what I think about it. I think from the title you already know where I stand, but I'll go over the qualifications and I'll give you the pros and cons. Nevertheless, we'll just jump into it. So Zillow now feels like that they launched a program, a pilot program where they're just kind of testing things out. Normally for the loan you're gonna at least need 3%. So in this situation, Zillow's like, hey, if you can get 1% down on the house, then as a grant we'll give you that extra 2% so that you would meet the requirements of at least 3%. So let's go over an example. So basically, let's say if a house costs 300,000. So that pretty much means 1% of 300,000. So that means you would only need 3,000, and Zillow is going to give you the other $6,000 as a grant. So on the surface, everything sounds good. You know, free money. I can be able to put less money down, and then everything's gravy. And their logic is okay, with high rental prices, it can be difficult to save. So we'll give you enough money so that you can meet the bare minimum qualifications, and then everything is good to go. The new program requires buyers to pay 1% upfront, while Zillow Home Loans contribute 2% down at closing. Now, here's the thing. So this program is real. It's not a scam. However, I'll go over why I don't think it's a good idea, especially now. And by the way, they do have Zillow isn't the first one who did this. I believe Rocket Mortgage and UMD, they have one similar, but Zillow I think is kind of following those two that done it earlier. Now, as far as the qualifications that we are particularly looking at, as far as the eligibility, I wrote it down. You have to be in Arizona currently right now. You have to be a first-time homeowner. You can't earn more than 80% of the median income for that particular area. Your credit score must be 620 or higher, and your debt to income ratio couldn't be higher than 50%. So that's we're kind of looking at for $70,000. That's, I guess, the medium income in Phoenix. 80%, you couldn't make over $56,000. Now, here's the reality, and it says Zillow found that 39% of U.S. homeowners this year, they having troubles with the down payment. So according to Zillow, the down payment is the problem. That's not the real problem. It says in the reality, the smaller down payment means the larger loan, which when you add high interest rates, that means your monthly mortgage payment will be hundreds of dollars more. So let's look at the reality check. The reality check is the smaller you put down, the higher your mortgage monthly payments will be. And take into account with interest rates being at all-time highs, and you gotta remember 620 is not that good of a credit score, so you're gonna be having high rates. So you're probably looking at probably 7-8%, which would mean your monthly payment would be hundreds of more dollars each month. So to me, it doesn't make logical sense. One, to be eligible, you're already under the median. Two, if you only can put 1%, that's probably would suggest that like emergency fund and your money is already kind of tight. So then you're taking on a more financial burden, and you're gonna have to pay more each month. So to me, it doesn't make sense. It seems like it's just putting a band-aid, and suppose you really need stitches, and you're just kind of putting a band-aid over it. That's how the whole situation for me. It does on the surface look appealing, but once you see the monthly mortgage payments and how much more you're paying for the house over time, it gets crazy. Also, I'll go over now they do let you and here's the thing, they do cap it up to 5%. So if you put 3%, Zillow will give you the 2% for it to be a total of 5%. But they will not let you put 5% would be the cap. So the most that you could for this program would be 3%, and then Zillow could put 2%. I still don't even think that is a good situation. And the reason why I think that this is a horrible idea right now, and I'll show you this is a perfect example. One, housing prices has went up substantially, I believe 20% or something, relatively a good portion relative to historic levels. So one, high housing prices are already relatively high. Interest rates are relatively high. Cost of living is already high as well. So they give you a couple thousand dollars to cover the down payment just for you to have a more expensive fixed monthly mortgage payment. To me, doesn't make sense. And here's an example of what I'm talking about. So this is a 30-year fixed mortgage compared to if the mortgage rates was 4% versus 7%. If the house sold for $416,000, you'll be paying for the difference between the 4 and 7%. You'll be paying an extra $1,000. So remember, they said for the house, I'll go over the example. So let's just even cut that in half per se. That means you'll still be paying an extra $500 a month. 500 times 12, to $6,000 extra each year for 30 years. Now, you could mention, yes, you could refinance, but that's only if the rates go down. And not to mention, you have to hope that the housing prices doesn't correct. Because if the housing price is correct, then you're really paying over. Because now you got the house isn't worth as much as you originally paid for it. And the interest on the loan is still going to be high. So, like, to me, this situation like this is kind of setting people up for failure. Now, this is the example that they also gave. So, looking at this is for the Arizona area. This is a real example. 1% down, a homeowner looking to purchase $275,000. If they're saying that, okay, if the house is $275,000 home in Phoenix, and who makes 80% of the median income and save 5%, they're saying, hey, you can get it in 11 months versus if you need the 3%, which would be 31 months. So you can do it. You can end up getting a house much faster, but much faster doesn't necessarily put you in the best financial situation, because we went over how high interest rates is and the prices at home. So then you're also, what you don't want to happen is, okay, let's say you get it, and then you're already strapped for cash. You already don't have a lot of money left over. So if anything was to go wrong, now you don't have the money. And then the worst thing you don't want to do is have to do a foreclosure or have to sell a house for a major loss. And then you also got to do closing costs and stuff like that. So to me, if you're in this particular situation, given the circumstances if housing prices was much lower, and mortgage rates was 2 or 3%, then we can revisit this. But why right now, while housing prices is this high, cost of living is this high, food prices is already this high, to make your monthly payments consistently fixed at a much higher thing, to me it doesn't make sense. And to me, the real problem isn't the down payment. I think the real problem is the price of the house. That's still, like I said, that's still not going to change. The price of the house is too high for most people. That's what, as far as the affordability challenge, the price of the house. Then number 2, interest rates. So yes, if the interest rates lower, then you'll have a more your mortgage payments will be lower. But at the end of the day, if the price of the house is high. So that means it's difficult for people to afford it. So to me, I don't think this is a solution to the problem. Also, what I do think, may consider me a conspiracy. Do you really think Zillow has your best interest? Are they kind of just doing that to get more housing sales and to keep up with other sales and other stuff that people offer? Also, you got to also think about is when you start offering stuff like this, and a lot of times you got to think about the people that they're particularly targeting. If they're already in a financial bind, to me, this can be like setting them up for failure long term. Now, in the short term, everything looks good, but underneath the surface. And then also, you got to remember, if you don't particularly have the money to have another car, what are you going to have to do? Are you going to have to use your credit card? Oh, okay, you're going to have, what's the interest rates on that? So anything like after that, you're going to have even more money, if you because you're going to have to borrow money to pay for stuff that, let's just say, if God forbid something happened, then you're going to have to pay even more money. And then not to mention not to mention, you're probably not going to, if you're cutting it this particular close, you're probably not going to have any money to save. So you're probably going to be pretty much working for the rest of your life. You think 65 is bad, try 80 or 90 or forever. So anyway, I could, like I said, I could be rambling. I'm not saying that programs that offer opportunity for people that doesn't make that much or create opportunity, I'm all for it. I have nothing against those, and I'm all for it. But this 1% down in this particular environment, this is not the answer. I mean, let me know in the comments below, but I don't think this is the answer. I think this is just going to make the situation worse. I think this is going to put Americans into even more debt. People are going to pay even more, and put in even more situations where they're living way beyond their means. And it's going to enable them to be able to live comfortable. That's personally what I think. Um, let me, like I said, let me know in the comments below. Maybe I'm have a very pessimistic view on this. Now, like I said, if the housing prices was much lower and interest rates was low, then we're talking about a different scenario. But the case is they're not. And that is the big problem. That's my thesis, my statements. That's pretty much it. That's all I have to particularly say for this. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Like, again, I will say programs like that. I'm all for programs that can help people, certain situations, their income or something like that. They might not be quite eligible. I'm all for kind of helping them out, but you don't want to have them cut corners just to lead them astray. Because you gotta remember, Zillow, once they make this, once they give you, you pay, you go through them, and they probably get that little commission or something like that. If you can't pay for it, you think Zillow gonna care? Nope, they just cared about, okay, the transaction went through, we got a home sale. That's all they care about. They're not gonna care about, oh, years later, oh dang, I don't have any money, or oh, I don't have any money. And plus, you're gonna want to live. You don't want to spend 60 or 70% of your income on a house, so that means you can't really do anything else but pile up debt. But anyway, that's what I have to say. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about it. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Out.